Since I bought the farm in central Portugal, many people have been asking me about my plans for the farm. I started my planning by taking the survey map and Google Map and creating a plan, and also watched some of my video footage to decide where to put everything. And the red arrow shows where I'm going to put a vegetable garden.
I think this field over here, that's quite close to the well, is going to be good for planting some vegetables. It's quite flat and it's a nice piece of land. I think this will be good, and the fact that it's close to the well, from a water point of view, I think will be good.
I've been looking at different options for raised bed gardens. I've been buying heaps of seeds, but what I've decided to do is to build an enclosed raised bed garden. I think that's going to work best. And I've already planted prickly pears to create a natural fence. Although I do plan on having food forests around the farm, I have dedicated 2 areas for developing dedicated orchards. I do love making jams and preserves and chutneys. And look, I know these trees aren't going to grow instantly, and this is basically a 5-year project, but I've got to start somewhere, and I've started on the orchard already. This shows where the stone wall is. And as I won't be able to live in the cottage initially until it's fixed up, I've planned to get some kind of a pre-built shed that will be big enough for me to stay in initially, just to put a bed and my things, and then eventually I'll be able to use it as a shed. And near the shed, I want to build a pole barn of some kind, something similar to this. Um, and then that will be having the composting area on the one side and a chicken coop on the other side. So this brings me to chickens. I mean, I think that one of the first animals or creatures on the farm will be chickens. I haven't yet decided on whether I'm going to be getting meat chickens or egg chickens. I would like to get day olds. I did grow up on a chicken farm with broiler chickens, so I know quite a bit about chickens. But to get day olds, you're going to have electricity for your brooders, and until I get all of that set up, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to get adult chickens ready, and then at least I'll be able to get eggs quite soon, so that'll be handy. I've also been thinking about um, getting some guinea fowl. I quite like guinea fowl. I know they're really noisy, but I suppose it will remind me a bit of South Africa, where, yeah, you always have guinea fowl. I've also been thinking about getting some geese as like guardian animals. Um, yeah, I think that will be good. Which brings me to getting a dog. This will come eventually as well. I've been looking at the Portuguese breeds of guardian dogs and doing a little bit of research on that. But you have to get the other animals and the infrastructure first before you can start, yeah, getting dogs and other living beings. You have to get the infrastructure done first. I have planned on dividing the farm into 6 different paddocks so that I can do rotational grazing. But I'm going to have to put in some fencing. There is some fencing ready, which you can see with by those arrows, but the fencing, I don't think it's going to be that secure, and I think it's going to have to be definitely strengthened. So that's the only fencing on the farm. Otherwise, everything else is going to have to be done from scratch. The fencing is going to be a very big job and quite a big expense, and so it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, I'm going to have to do a little bit at a time and maybe get one paddock fenced at a time, and yeah, get started that way. One wants to keep the wild boar out as well as wanting to keep your animals in. So I won't get like huge herds of animals to start off with. My father used to breed Dorper sheep, so I have sort of been thinking about that, but I used to breed boer goats at one time, and they're really good goats for meat, so I was thinking along those lines. But then I also used to breed, I had registered Saanen milk goats, and I quite like the Saanens, but I'm not too sure how easy they are to get in Portugal. I know it's much easier to get this Merciana, I think it's called. It's a Spanish milk goat breed. They're much easier to get hold of, and I think they're quite common in Portugal. So I will look at getting a couple of those. I won't be able to get a whole lot, as I say, until I've got fencing set up. And in each paddock, I'm going to have to build or create some kind of housing or shelter for the animals, because goats don't like getting wet. So that is something I have to think about. But I've got great land for goats, I think. But I've always loved breeding animals, and I think I really want to focus on having a registered herd of kuni pigs. I've done a lot of research into kuni pigs. I think um, the area that I'm in will be perfect for them, especially with the forests and that I've got on the farm, where they can get a little bit of shade. And I think kuni pigs, perfect pigs for a homestead. And seeing I'm going to be alone, I don't want to have huge pigs that are quite fierce. I think having these nice tame pigs, which are smaller, are going to be much better. As I said before, this isn't all going to happen overnight. Think of this as being like a 5-year plan in how I can develop the farm into a working farm again. And here the arrow points towards the water mine. Close to the water mine, obviously, there's lots of vegetation that needs to be cleared up. I think I might need to get a wood chipper to chip some of it up. But this water mine, some people have suggested that I turn it into a dam. I think I'm going to just put a fence around this water mine, because I don't want any animals falling into it and, yeah, getting stuck in there. So a fence around the water mine, I think, is going to be what I'll be doing, and then I can eventually have like a solar powered pump over there as well, to pump water out, to be able to give animals water. The top terrace is really great. It's got grazing and it's got trees, um, but I'm going to also have to fence that in as well, because like a few rocks at the bottom is not going to stop animals from escaping. Just thinking about all this fencing and the amount of money it's going to cost is almost enough to make me even grayer than I am already. But, you know, as they say in Kiswahili, pole pole, we'll get there slowly. So the next thing is the olive grove, and you can see it shown here on the map. And what I want to do with the olive grove is that I want to expand it. At the moment, it's got 10 very mature trees. So I want to get some younger trees and expand the olive grove. There's enough space for it. It has been suggested by various people that I invest in a tractor. If I do get one, it would be one of these mini tractors, probably one of these Kubota type ones. But that's not going to be, done early on. I think the fencing is a priority before I invest in a tractor. Um, Hopefully, one day that will happen, and I can put that in my 5 year plan, because this is basically a 5 year plan that I am working on. And obviously plans can change, things happen. Like when you're living there, you might see that, oh, this isn't going to work, I'm going to have to try something else. And that's okay. But I think you do need to have a bit of a plan to start off with, and that's why I sat and colored in all these different zones in the farm to work out more or less where I want to put things, because I just think I need to have like an overall idea of what I am planning, rather than just doing one thing, like just saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to build this, and then I see when I look at a big picture, it's not going to work. So what I've tried to do is create a big picture that I can work off of and adapt as necessary. So, yeah, please like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you next week.